bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
What issues are of importance in New Jersey, for New Jerseyans for the presidential election of 2008? Well, the Hall Institute of Public Policy here in New Jersey performed a survey, and we have someone here to share with us what is on the top of the agenda. Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Candace Kelly, and this is Comcast Newsmakers. This hour's newsmaker is Michael Riccards, the Executive Director of the Hall Institute of Public Policy, New Jersey. And today we are talking about the 2008 presidential race. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So this all began with an open letter that you wrote. And tell me about this open letter and how it turned into finding out what New Jerseyans wanted to see at the top of the agenda for the presidential election of 2008.
Well, I think what we wanted to do was, first of all, not just have New Jersey be a place where candidates fly in to Bergen County or to Middlesex County, raise money and leave and go to Iowa and New Hampshire and talk to their voters. We wanted to have a real impact on what they said here. And so what I decided to do was to work with our communications director, Richard Lee, to take the Hall Institute on the road to the northern part of the state, and we went up to Montclair State, and we were on television there to really ask people, what are you interested in? And then we went to the center part of the state, which is Monmouth University, which also is the home of a poll. And then we went to the southern part of the state at Richard Stockton College. And in each of those areas, we asked the same question that you've already identified. Tell us, what issues do you want to bring forth to the people running for President of the United States? And from that, I would extract a kind of open letter to the candidates.
I see. And what were some of those issues that people were most concerned about?
Well, I think the issues that people were most concerned about, first of all, even more than the rest of the country, the people of New Jersey want an end to the war in Iraq. Mm-hmm. They're even stronger than the 62% that the American people have already identified that as their concern. Secondly, well, it was followed, of course, by medical coverage. People want universal medical coverage. They want it, they need it. If you're losing your job now, you're not only losing your job, for many people you're losing health care.
Right.
And health care is so terribly expensive. People are interested in immigration. Immigration is important in New Jersey. Even though we're not a border state like Arizona or New Mexico, large numbers of people, as you know, are employed in the building trades, in the hospitality industry.
Absolutely.
And people came and said, we want this regularized some way. That was an important issue. Transportation, which of course for New Jersey is always an important concern that people have. And when education as well.
And education as well. When you went from the Montclairs to the Monmouth to the Richard Stockton College, did you find major differences in the areas across New Jersey?
No, and interestingly, very few people spoke of their own self-interest. Very few people said, I want to talk about higher education. They wanted to talk about K through 12 and how effective K through 12 is, the problems they had with No Child Left Behind.
You've written this letter already, and if
no,
so...
I'm right. I've written a draft of it.
Okay.
And we're going to pass it on to the candidates, and we're going to then, of course, have it on our website, www.hallnj.org.
And what's your expectation once you send the letter to the
Well,
candidates?
we're hoping that it becomes part of the national debate, that when people are talking about concerns that individuals have, as they did last night in South Carolina, as they've done in the past in Nevada and in California and in New Hampshire, and in Iowa soon, they will also say, let me tell you what the 10th largest state in the union and what those people are saying. A state that now has the second or first highest per capita income as well. Let's talk about what the people of New Jersey think, too, as a part of that mix.
I'm sure that it makes you happy that the primaries were moved up in New Jersey.
Yeah, but I didn't expect everybody else would move them up, too.
So at the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference, or does it?
No, it didn't make the difference we had hoped it would.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's good seeing you. I'm sure I'll see you again, especially if you were talking about the election of 2008. Very good having you. This hour's newsmaker has been Michael Riccards, the Executive Director of the Hall Institute of Public Policy in New Jersey. And I'm Candace Kelly for Comcast Newsmakers. Remember, for more information, check us out online at cn8.tv.
bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
The Hall Institute of Public Policy in New Jersey has put out a body of work called Reaction and Reform in New Jersey that's filled with a collection of writings filled with issues that are important to New Jerseyans. And we have someone here who's going to share with us what is in this volume. Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Candace Kelly, and this is Comcast Newsmakers. This hour's newsmaker is Michael Riccards, the Executive Director of the Hall Institute of Public Policy in New Jersey. And today we're going to be talking about Reaction and Reform in New Jersey, which is the volume that I was making reference to. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Now, this is an interesting volume. You said that it comes off of various writings that are already on your website, and you compile it and put it in a publication of sorts so that people can have all of these articles. Why was it important for you to put this together?
Well, it's the second year we've done this. We've taken the longer pieces that are on our website, chosen some that we think are extremely important, put them together in a hard volume, and then sent that out to major decision makers in the state and across the nation. We've gotten a tremendous response last year, and I expect we'll get an even better response now that people are awaiting it this year.
Wow. And what was the response, and what did you hope to do by sending it out to people across the country?
Well, I think what we're trying to do is to show what issues were important to us in New Jersey, but also a lot of them, as you know, are national issues. They were issues dealing with education and health care and the whole question of urban sprawl. Issues were important to the people of New Jersey. They're on our website, but they also were important to large numbers of Americans.
In that collection, there is an article called McGreevey and Nixon. I guess the comparative look at the two. Is this one that you authored?
No, my
Okay.
colleague Richard Lee did a very interesting piece where he looks at the whole question of privacy in our public officials.
I see.
How much privacy do they have a right to expect? And he takes two very interesting case studies. I don't think anybody's ever really come close to looking at the two of them together. Richard Nixon, who maybe we're beginning to have a little more respect for now than we used to, and former Governor Jim McGreevey that Richard worked for.
Right. I'm sure that they shared a number of issues in terms of the privacy issues. Article in there on eminent domain, which is always something that people are talking about and hoping that they're not displaced by the government. And two, an article about Sinatra.
Well, the article on eminent domain is something, of course, as you said, that everybody's very concerned about in this state, and it's essentially a brief put together by the Public Advocate, which we reprinted. We don't think enough people saw it.
No.
And there is a minor piece on Frank Sinatra. Yes.
And with this in particular, are these for sale, or how do people get their hands on
Well,
this?
basically, if people are interested, they can contact the Hall Institute, and we will try to put them. We don't sell them in a bookstore or anything like that. But the last I heard was that Amazon was selling the previous volume for $75 a copy.
Oh, is that right? Is that right?
I think that's a bit high.
Well, in terms of some of the topics that are in there, how did you even come up with that? Do you have various writers, or do they have to be a part of your organization to write?
No, most of them are not a part of our organization. Most of them are people that we've sought out saying we really want a copy. Other people have sent us particular copies. One person sent me a fascinating article in which he tries to show how you can use people who have been in jail as a part, really, of training programs to rehab the cities. It's a fascinating article. There's an article in there that deals with the decline of New Jersey as a center for technology.
Wow.
Which is a very, by a man who was linked with, of course, Bell Labs and Telcordia in the past. We have some articles on healthcare, the questions really which become terribly significant to us. And we also have really some basic questions that we're asking ourselves about ethics reform. And that was a report that was submitted, as you know, a while ago to the governor.
Absolutely.
And we think at least the summary of that should be before the people of the state.
And once again, this collection is called Reaction and Reform in New Jersey, filled with an interesting collection of works.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully a lot of people will get it in their hands and read it. Sounds
We
good.
hope so.
All right, this hour's newsmaker has been Michael Riccards, the Executive Director of the Hall Institute of Public Policy in New Jersey. And I'm Candace Kelly for Comcast Newsmakers. For more information, make sure to check us out online at cn8.tv.